guys, it's Kayla. Welcome back to my channel. Here we talk about all things Disney as well as how to plan your Walt Disney World vacation. So if that interests you, make sure you hit that subscribe button and stay tuned. Guys, so if you have been around the Disney community, you have probably heard the term Disney math. It's kind of this weird term that everybody talks about, but nobody ever really explains what it is. Today I'm going to talk about exactly what is Disney math and some tips to make sure that you are avoiding the Disney math traps. Okay, so first of all, what is Disney math? Basically what it is it's this idea that you can save money at Disney, but you will usually end up spending more money somewhere else because you are saving money. And it's like this weird cycle. So let me give you some examples. So my video that I posted last week, all about budgeting for your park tickets and admission, I kind of mentioned how the way Disney does their ticketing is it's cheaper per day the longer that you go. So I gave the example that when we were doing our tickets, it was like only gonna be $20 more to add an extra day just because of the way that it worked out. And although that is great and it does encourage you to go for longer, you also have to think about, okay, I'm going to be spending more on my hotel. I'm going to be spending more on food because that's another day added. And so it's one of those, it's that idea of, okay, I am saving money on my tickets, but you're not actually saving money and you're actually going to be spending more money than you originally were because you're using that extra day. So that is just kind of an example, a good way. Now I'm going to give you some tips on how you can kind of avoid falling into these Disney math traps. So the first one is one that me and Mark Allen have actually fallen into like hardcore, and we've really been trying to work on recognizing it a little bit more, and that is with our annual passes. So we have never been annual passes before until this year. This is our first time, and so it's been opening our eyes to a world of all kinds of things that come with being an annual pass holder. So with your annual pass, you get discounts on merchandise, on food, on resorts, on hard ticket events, on all of these different things. And so because of that, that's kind of the huge draw of why people get an annual pass. Now, they always talk about the Disney math with this of like, how long do you have to go in order for your pass to be worth it? And how many trips and how many days and all this stuff. So when we were figuring it out, we figured out how many trips and things that we were going to be going on, and we were saying, okay, so this is how many days we're going, is this going to equal out? And for us it did. However, because you get all of those room discounts and food discounts and merchandise discounts and all of that stuff, it really turned up the volume on our impulse buying. And because it was one of those things where like we had a budget in mind, and we did still stick with our budget for the most part, but it was just like, oh well, we get a discount on that, so we should buy that. Oh well, you know what, we can go ahead and get this extra thing because we get a discount on it, or anything like that. It's bad. Like, it's, if you're an annual pass holder, you know, like it's very easy to fall into that trap. The best thing to do to avoid this trap is to set a budget before you go of how much you're wanting to spend on merchandise and food and things like that, and really stick to that budget, because then you are going to be getting the benefits of having that discount, but then it's also going to be making you think a little bit more, and you're not going to be impulse buying quite as much. Now the other thing with this too is how many times you go. It's very tempting to want to add another trip or so because you want to make your pass worth it while you have it, right? Yeah, well, guess what? You're also gonna drop another couple $1,000s. So really you're not saving money by adding those extra trips, but you know, that's just one of those things that I encourage you to know before before you buy an annual pass exactly how many trips you are wanting to go on, and then actually stick with that. That is the best way to actually save money with your annual pass and to not fall into the Disney math trap of it, of you get all these discounts, so you need to go more so that you can get more discounts and make it all worth it and everything like that. So know beforehand that you are going to want to spend all of your money, and don't do that. That's the best thing that I can tell you to do. All right, the next one that is, in my opinion, a really big Disney math trap is the free dining and other promotions that Disney offers. Free dining, yes, it is so awesome. It is so great, and I've never been able to go during free dining, and I hope to one day get to do that. However, it's one of those things that it may or may not be too good to be true, and I'll explain why. With the free dining promotion especially, there's usually the catch where you have to have park hopper tickets, and usually you have to be in a specific type of room and for a certain number of days. Like, you have to be going for a certain number of days. Now, if your trip does not already fall into those parameters, you are now having to spend extra money that you were not planning on before just so that you can get free dining. That may or may not work out for you, because if you have to extend your trip because you weren't staying long enough to qualify, well, that's another hotel night or 2 or 3, depending on what you were doing, that now you're having to pay for. And or like park hopper tickets. So for me as an annual pass holder, I don't need to buy park tickets, but I can't get free dining unless I buy those park hopper tickets with the package. And so now I've spent several $100s on park tickets when I could have just spent that on food. So it's kind of one of those balance things that you have to decide, am I already qualified for this promotion to where it actually is going to save me money, or am I going to have to bend over backwards to get this particular discount? The other one that we get this a lot with is the room discounts, especially for your annual pass. Usually they have specific rooms that you have to stay in. Like, usually the standard rooms don't qualify for those discounts just because they're already really cheap. So a lot of times we've had to upgrade our rooms to a preferred room, at least a preferred room, in order to get a discount. And because of that, the room is more expensive, so the savings isn't quite as much as like if they were to have discounts on a standard room. So it's one of those things, we've still saved money by doing that. You just kind of have to be careful. You need to make sure that you do the math beforehand to make sure that you actually are saving money and you're not like accidentally spending more money, because it's one of those weird things where they'll get you. They will get you. So really my biggest tips with this is to make sure that you read the fine print. Know what it takes to actually qualify for the free dining or room discounts or any of those package promotions that Disney is offering. And if you qualify for that already, go for it. Do it. You will be totally fine. If you do not, you need to really sit down and look at the numbers before you book that promotion to make sure that it is actually going to be worth it for you. All right, and my last one. I know this one's gonna be a little controversial, but I'm telling you anyways. And that is the dining plan, whether it's the quick service, deluxe, the normal one, just the dining plan in general. People love it and people hate it, and people always get it and people never get it. We did the quick service dining plan on our May trip, and I have a whole video talking about all of the numbers of exactly what we spent. So if you haven't checked that out, go ahead and check out that video. I'll link that above. But overall, what we found is that we did not save money on the quick service dining plan. And I did have a friend point out to me that we did not include tax in our out-of-pocket pricing. And yes, you are correct. That does skew the numbers just a little bit. However, overall, we still did not actually save money. And the reason being is we added on a lot of drinks and desserts and sides and things that we honestly wouldn't have gotten if we weren't on the dining plan. We bought a lot more food than we normally do on our vacation. It was mainly just because we were trying to get a good use of our credit. It wasn't even because we wanted those extra things. Like, we would have been like, sure, yeah, they were great and fun, but it wasn't something that I was like, oh, I need to have this. Like, it was literally just because, well, this comes with a drink and a side, so we need to get that so that we're not wasting our credit. And that is the biggest reason why we did not save money. And that's why that Disney math of the dining plan gets you all this extra whatever, like, yeah, sure, you do get extra food, but are you actually going to eat that, and is that actually worth it for you? So overall, if we would have accounted for that, we would have spent a lot less just paying out of pocket, because we wouldn't have gotten all of those extra things. And it honestly, for us, it would have worked a lot better. So for my tip on how to avoid losing that money or feeling like you have to just add all these things to your meals to make it worth it, is to really sit down and plan your meals out beforehand. Know exactly where you're gonna eat, exactly how many credits you're gonna use on each day, and then that way you know, like, okay, this is what I'm getting. I'm not trying to figure out, like, how do I make this worth it, but you already know going into it what you're going to be eating, and you're not going to fall into our situation where you run out of snack credits on the second day of your 5-day trip. That is definitely my biggest tip for that, is just plan it all out beforehand. That way you know what you're getting, or just do what we do and pay cash, because then you know that you are saving money, because you're just spending money on the things that you're actually wanting to spend money on. And that's a good way to help you be a little bit more budget conscious, because you are taking it out of pocket instead of just doing a credit. All right, and those are my top tips on what Disney math is and how to not fall into the trap of it. Do you guys have some examples of Disney math that I did not mention today? What are some traps that you have fallen into in the past? Please leave those down in the comments below. I always love adding to my Disney knowledge, and I know that you guys do too. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. And if you want to see more fun Disney content like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button. All right, that's it. That's all I got for you guys today. We'll see you next time. Bye.